like I am going to die, but I would never be that lucky. Hey guys, what's up? I wanted to make a video, probably my last one for 2016. So before I get into the video, you'll probably notice something if you watch my videos for a couple months now. Or if you started before I moved to China, you'll notice I either did a really good job at replicating my bedroom in New Jersey, or I'm back home. It's the first of the two. I'm just kidding. I'm back home. I'm in New Jersey. You won't see it in my vlogs yet because I'm still a little bit behind on uploading, but I have a nice long break for the winter because where I live in the south of China, we don't have heat during the winter, so they send everyone home for 2 months and they're like, deal with it by yourself. So obviously I came home. It was a big surprise for my family and stuff because they expected me later. But yeah, you won't really see it in the vlogs because truthfully, I didn't vlog it. I'm too tired. I don't know. It took me literally 30 hours to get home. So, and that was like last week. I've been home for about a week now and I'm still a zombie. I'm still exhausted. So I was home for Christmas, gonna be home for New Year's. So it's a good thing. Gonna be home until actually the end of February. So that's really awesome. All right. So I wanted to do a little bit of like a anxiety update video since, you know, it's kind of like, well, tomorrow's the last day of 2016 and, you know, I just have some stuff that I wanted to talk about, wanted to say, wanted to keep you guys kind of in the loop. I have lipstick on my teeth? No, but I very well could because I usually do. Okay, so I know the lighting shit. Listen, I'm not a professional, okay? I'm sorry. Just deal with it. I'll try and lighten it up when I edit. I think a lot of people, for all different sorts of reasons, are kind of on the same page about 2016. That is that it was one of the worst years. And I mean, collectively, like in our history, one of the worst years. And for me personally, one of my, definitely in the top like 3 worst years of my life. So, I mean, it didn't start out so bad, you know, everything was fine in the beginning. What am I doing? I don't know. But you guys know I had a lot of big changes this year. I moved to China. I mean, for one, I had a lot of like fallouts with my friends and like romantic relationships fell apart, all kinds of stuff. So let's kind of just talk about how my anxiety is doing now. And the answer is not so great. I'll be totally honest with you. I want to die. All right, so without like being too dramatic, let's calm down here. A lot of my anxiety springs from, I mean, just being away, being so far away from home for so long. And also, I think a big stressor for me was a lot of the things that I sacrificed to move away, and with that comes a lot of uncertainty on whether I did the right thing, whether I am doing the right thing. Because right now, obviously, like, I don't want to go back because I'm very comfortable and it feels great to be home. I feel like I've been talking to my classmates about it and I feel like that's kind of all collectively how we feel, just because all of us are foreigners in China. We're all from different countries, but we all kind of have the same general feeling about just being away, being there in general. I don't know, I have a lot of regrets about going. I don't regret like the travel aspect. I don't regret the opportunity. I just regret a lot of the things that I had to do to get there, to get to this point. So I think one of the most, and I like went back and forth on whether or not I was going to talk about this, because I said earlier in the year, probably in the summer, at the end of the summer before I left, that I wasn't going to talk about it anymore. I wasn't going to drag it out. But you guys know I went through kind of a pretty bad breakup before I left. And I think a lot of the impetus for that breakup was the fact that I was leaving. Well, that's really, I mean, in my mind, the only reason that we broke up. But now I'm not so sure. Because let me just tell you a little story, okay? So, I don't know, I had this like idea in my mind that if my ex found out that I wasn't gonna be in China for as long, which I probably won't actually be there for 4 years, I might only be there for like another year from now. I think I mentioned it in my TMI tag. I had this idea that maybe like, oh, maybe he'll want to get back together. And then I told him about it, and then like I was home and he knew that I was home, and there was no mention of anything like that. And around Christmas, like I, you know, wished him Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all that stuff, and he called me and he just like, I could tell he just wanted to get off the phone with me like really fast, and he was just like mean about a lot of things, and he would say no. Like, I don't expect him to ever watch this video. I know that he used to watch my videos, but I don't think so anymore. But I realized a lot of things that it's not that I didn't realize them originally, but I was really trying so hard to deny them. Like the fact that he never actually really cared for me. I think I was like a way to kind of pass the time. And I opened up and I told him all of this, and I was like, listen, this has been eating away at me for months, and I feel like I can't, I'm not making any progress, and I just need to say this. And his response was basically like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, you are just bad at dealing with this. Like, don't make it a big deal. And I told him, I was like, you have hurt me more than anyone has ever hurt me in my life. I was so taken aback by his, like, he was so cold about it, and he was so like, he would never apologize for anything. And then I started thinking about all the things that like I had tried when we were together to get him to understand when he would hurt my feelings, or when I would, try and explain something to him. Just didn't get it. I don't know if he didn't get it, or if he didn't care, or if it wasn't enough of a problem for him to want to change it. And the way that he like literally overnight just washed his hands of me, because there was no other like bad part of our relationship. It's not like we were fighting up until we broke up. It was just literally like, oh, you're leaving. Well, I have it set in my mind that the day that you're gonna leave, that's when I'm gonna stop talking to you. Bye-bye. That was so painful, and I told him that, and his response of like, oh, well, you're just bad at dealing with it. It was so incredibly cold, and it hurt my feelings so badly. And I have something to say to not only him, but anyone that's kind of in the upper hand in a situation where someone's feelings are involved. In the words of Louis C.K., when a person tells you that you hurt them, you don't get to decide that you didn't. And that's really, really important. It's not for you to say, oh, well, you're just taking it badly. It's your problem. If you did something wrong and you can't acknowledge that, that's your problem, not mine. So anyway, moving on from that, the stress of that interaction really kind of jump-started a bad kind of OCD reaction, and I've not been feeling well since, and I've had a lot of stress about going back and dealing with that stuff alone, because it's hard enough when I'm here with my friends and my family. I mean, they're great at keeping me, busy and keeping me distracted from all of my OCD thoughts and just like my state of mind in general. I went back to work. I've already been back on 2 shifts at my old job, teaching painting classes. I'm, getting back into the swing of things and being able to talk to people that kind of have known me for a long time, and I don't have to give them a whole background story of my whole life, like, to get to relate to them. It's so comforting to have them here, and that has been helping. So I've been able to distract myself. My friends are great for being there, and just, they're ready to just like jump in and be like, oh, let's go get coffee, let's go do something, let's like, let's hang out. So that's really good. But at night, when I'm alone with my thoughts and I'm jet lagged and I'm like exhausted and I'm anxious, those nights are awful. It's so bad, and I'll have awful dreams, and I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and then not be able to get back to sleep. It's not been fun. So I have all the stress of that in my life, and then on top of that, I'm now, I have the stress of my health. I know I mentioned it maybe in a vlog at some point, but I had a very close run-in with cervical cancer. It ended up being pre-cancer that they were able to remove, but it's something that I'll have to monitor for the rest of my life. And eventually they didn't, I don't know, I kind of would just like to get it taken care of, and I just, like, I'm not planning on having children for several reasons, but even at 26 years old, they don't respect that I want to be proactive about my health, and they say, oh, well, we can't honor that because you might one day want to have children. And I'm like, but I might also die. And if I have a pregnancy, it's automatically going to be high risk because I've had surgery to remove the precancerous cells, because they were, from my understanding of how they explained it to me, they were at the highest level of precancer before they had to be considered cancer. So that's always on my mind, especially now, because come the first of the year, I will not be insured. I will not have health insurance. Supposedly in China, I have it. I don't know anything about my health insurance in China, and truthfully, in Guiyang, I'm not going to go and have any kind of procedures like that done unless it's like I'm going to die right then if I don't do it. Because it's just not the best facilities, it's not the best anything. So of course I want to get it taken care of while I'm in the States. You know, that's a big thing that's on my mind too, is that not only just that, but like my prescriptions, my anxiety medications, my birth control that I take, not just because I don't want to get pregnant, sure, that's a great thing, but you know, I take it to regulate like my period, I take it for just my mood in general because it helps to balance everything out. And my cycle was so painful and irregular that before I went on birth control, the type of birth control that I'm on now, I don't get my period at all. And before I had, you know, when I would get my period, I would miss that entire week of school and I would be in pain the week before and the week after. So there was like 1 week a month where I was like, all right, I'm kind of living my life now. I can't go back to that. And I've been on this birth control for almost 10 years, which I know is not healthy. The alternative is that I will be in pain and like, there's just so many things that aren't what I want them to be right now. So I have that, and then I have the stress of just my dad also. Thank God yesterday though, we got good news that he had a very close run-in with prostate cancer, and we were waiting on test results and everything just yesterday came back negative. So that was a huge relief on everyone because that's a very scary thing, and my parents are both kind of like getting up there in age. Especially being so far away, that's one of the last things that anyone wants to hear about. I mean, you know, that's just terrifying. And then of course it's just the stress of what am I even doing with my life, honestly, at this point. You know, I'm 26 years old and I don't know what I want to do. I don't know, you know, all of that stuff. I have no idea. It's not like I didn't expect to face a lot of issues in moving to China. Of course I did. There's a lot of things you can't plan for. There's a lot of things that you can't foresee. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with kind of as they come, whether it's cultural issues, whether it's mostly cultural issues, but whether it's a language thing or whether it's just like a comfort type thing, and it's a thing about you missing your family and friends and missing home and missing everything that's familiar. It's really bad, and I know that I mentioned it briefly in a vlog back in October. I had a very bad relapse of my OCD and I almost went home. I like lined everything up to go home, and then I decided to stick it out for a little bit, and it ended up being okay. You know, thinking about how I felt then and having these feelings slowly coming back this past week and knowing what that feels like, it makes me very scared for my future, because you can't, you know, as many of you guys, I know many of you guys watching have OCD. You've told me that your themes are similar to some of mine, and you know, I constantly worry about losing my mind or doing something that I think is completely awful, and then like doing it like almost in like a, not like sleepwalking type state, but like unconscious state. Like I don't know what I'm doing, and then I'm gonna like suddenly wake up and be like, oh my God, what have I done? And I worry about that. I worry about I just worry about whether I can survive or not. And it's not even like I really want to be alive that badly. It's just like, I don't want to have all the repercussions of, you know, if I were to do something drastic. And I'm not saying I would, these are OCD fears talking. So, I mean, you can take that, you know, for what it is. I wanted to talk about some of these feelings and some of these fears because I know you guys have them as well. And just so you can see, like, I have good days, I have bad days. A lot of the bad days aren't super awful, and a lot of the good days aren't really all that great. I mean, a lot of the time I'm just kind of like floating in the middle, just trying to survive. And I say all the time, it's not that I want to die per se. I just want to press pause on my existence for however long until I've completely leveled out and I'm at a better point in my life, and then press play again. And I just want to not be conscious for however many years or however long that is. I mean, that's like a really sad thing, because I feel like, I don't know, even obviously you can't do that. Like obviously that's not an option, but when you live your life wishing you could do that, you might as well do that, because you're missing out on experiences. You're not living fully. You're not happy, and that's a problem. So hopefully this has been insightful in some way, and I hope you guys are doing better than I am, and I will see you in 2017 when hopefully things are better and things are brighter. But I'll be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot of hope for that. And I don't want you guys to get discouraged about your own recovery or anything like this. I just want to show you what relapses are like, and that they do happen, that it's possible for anyone to have a relapse. I think in October was my first real relapse since I got better into like a more stable point. I think that was my first real relapse. And now I'm just kind of dealing with the ups and downs. Right now it's a down point, but there are lots of up ones too. So just so you guys know. But I just wanted to do a little bit of an anxiety update for you guys, because a lot of you ask, which is really awesome, and you're really sweet. A lot of you guys wish me well, and of course I wish you well also. Happy New Year, happy holidays. I hope you guys are having lots of fun whenever you're watching this, whatever time it is, wherever in the world you are. And just, you know, keep going, because really that's all we can do. I'm not trying to check out anytime soon, I guess. Like I said, wouldn't be that lucky. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the holidays. If you have any questions, I was thinking of maybe doing like a Q&A type thing at some point. So if you have any questions, you can leave them below in the comments. I'll probably answer them in the comments anyway, but then I might make a video. You can always send me stuff on Twitter. My handle is Callie Wallace, my name. So I will kind of put that there. You can send me stuff on Instagram. Tumblr, all of my usernames, I think, are they? Yeah, they're all Callie Wallace, so you can find me anywhere. The only one that's not is YouTube. You can find me on any of those places. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Alright guys, thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Follow me on social media, do whatever you need to do. And if you're interested, here's a clip of my last video. But yeah, so,